These are 20 of the greatest birding locations in the United States, and the first one is the legendary Cape May, New Jersey. Cape May has a bunch of shorebirds, gulls, terns, even raptors, but what they are most famous for is their warblers. You see, when warblers are migrating over the ocean, they often stop at the very first place that they see when they get to land. And Cape May is situated perfectly on the coast that it funnels a bunch of migrants right to this small point where they all congregate. And so while Cape May has a lot of birds, the warblers are going to get the most attention because nearly every species found in the eastern United States can be found there during migration. And so if you've never been, it's a great place to go for spring migration. Continuing up the east coast a bit, we have Acadia National Park. Acadia is well known for its coastal birds and boreal forest birds. So in the morning, you could hear a bicknell thrush singing, and in the afternoon, you could go to the coast looking for black guillemots or great blackback gulls. Not too far from the national park is a couple of Atlantic puffin colonies as well. If we go all the way down the east coast to the very bottom, we have Everglades National Park. Not only is Everglades a great place to find a lot of southern United States specialties, it also is important for wintering shorebirds. During the winter months is the best time to go. Not only is it a lot cooler there than during the summer, but that's when a lot of birds are wintering there, and they're going to be a lot more active throughout the day because it is less hot. During the spring, Everglades also gets quite a bit of neotropical migrants such as thrushes, warblers, vireos, and flycatchers. During spring and fall migration, they also have a lot of raptors. On the other side of Florida is Fort DeSoto Park. Since it's on the coast, there's going to be a lot of birds in the springtime, as that's when a lot of neotropical migrants are coming north and resting and refueling on their way farther north. It also has a lot of shorebirds year-round. Next up is High Island. Since it's on the Gulf Coast, again, it's going to be a pretty big spring migration spot, and so while they do get a ton of neotropical migrants, making it one of the best places in Texas to witness spring migration, there's also a lot of wading birds such as herons, egrets, even roseate spoonbills. High Island is also one of the best places on the Texas Gulf Coast to find seaside sparrows. The Great Plains region is actually a surprisingly good birding spot, as both eastern and western birds tend to meet together. It's also a major migratory bird flyway, which means some of the best places are going to have the most birds at them during spring or fall migration. First one that I have is Cheyenne Bottoms Wildlife Area. And Cheyenne Bottoms is known for its shorebird migration, waterfowl migration, and they even had an American flamingo one time. Corvera National Wildlife Refuge is only 40 miles away, which also provides a lot of the same bird species. Next up is the Platte River. Every March and April, sandhill cranes gather there on their journey north by the hundreds of thousands. Not only is it the highest concentration of sandhill cranes in the world, but they also have greater prairie chickens. One of the best places for birding in the Midwest region is Horicon Marsh. You can find a ton of breeding waterfowl and shorebirds in the wetlands, and it's also one of the few places during the breeding season that you can find whooping cranes. Next up is the famous McGee Marsh. Now, McGee Marsh is not on the ocean coast, but it is on the Lake Erie coast. And much like down south on the ocean, where birds stop once they see land, here at McGee Marsh they actually stop once they see water, because they need to refuel before making that long flight over Lake Erie. And so as with any other place that's famous for its migration, you're going to see a lot of warblers and neotropical migrants, as well as some other Midwestern specialties. In the southeast region, we have Huntington Beach State Park, which not only is the home to several endangered species of plovers, it also has a lot of seabirds, since it's on the coast. Come during spring migration, and you'll probably get some neotropical migrants as well. Tennessee River National Wildlife Refuge is another important stop for migrating shorebirds, as these ample mudflats make it very easy for shorebirds to find food on their way north. Also in the southeast is possibly one of the most famous national wildlife refuges ever, which is St. Mark's. St. Mark's is a great place for shorebirds and neotropical migrants. It's also the home of the famous flamingo, Pinky. If we head all the way over to the Rocky Mountains region, we have Rocky Mountain National Park. Not only is it the home of many western mountain species, it's also a great place to find alpine birds such as the white-tailed ptarmigan. If we keep going west, we'll hit Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge, and as you could guess by its name, it is a great stop for migratory birds. Not only is it great for migratory birds, but it's also important for birds year-round. Black-necked stilts and American avocets nest by the thousands there, and it's one of the most important wintering grounds for tundra swans. One of the best locations in the southwest is Cave Creek Canyon. Here you can get a lot of southeastern Arizona specialties, but it's especially known for its hummingbirds. Next is Bosque del Apache National Wildlife Refuge, and it's a very important migratory bird stop, as the marshes are surrounded by desert, which means you're going to get a lot of shorebirds and western waterfowl heading north. If we go south a little bit, you'll hit Big Bend National Park, which is famous for the Colima warbler, but it also holds the title of the birdiest national park, as no national park has had more birds than Big Bend. The last region that we have is the West Coast. If you go to Point Reyes National Seashore, you can see just about every bird species found in California here. They have a very diverse range of habitats, which means they can host a lot of birds. Also in California is the Salton Sea. The brine shrimp in the Salton Sea is an important food source for waterfowl and shorebirds. Surrounding the area, you can also see a lot of desert specialties, some of which are found only in California. And speaking of birds you can only see in California, the yellow-footed gull is found at the Salton Sea, but nowhere else in the United States reliably. And the last location that I have here is the San Juan Islands. While it's famous for its seabirds such as alcids and auklets, you can also find a lot of Pacific Northwest specialties such as chestnut-backed chickadee. Now there are many more great birding locations inside of the United States, so if you have a favorite that I didn't mention, go ahead and put it in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.